In a busy town, there lived a woman named Sassy. She was beautiful, smart, and had big dreams. But more than anything else, Sassy wanted to be rich. She didn't just want a good life, she wanted an amazing one. She dreamt of fancy cars, big houses, designer clothes, and luxury vacations. But Sassy didn't want to work hard to get rich. She had a plan to marry a rich man. She believed that if she could get a rich man to marry her, she would live a perfect life. So Sassy started going to parties and events where rich people gathered. She dressed in her best clothes, always looked perfect, and tried to impress anyone who looked like they had money. One night, at a big charity event, she met a man named Xander. He wore an expensive suit, had a charming smile, and spoke with confidence. He told her about his beautiful home, his travels around the world, and his love for art and fine wine. Sassy was amazed. He seemed like everything she ever wanted. They started dating, and Xander took her to fancy restaurants, gave her expensive gifts, and told her stories about his rich lifestyle. Sassy fell in love with him and the life she thought he could give her. After a few months, Xander asked her to marry him. She said yes without hesitation, and they had a big wedding, and soon enough, he took her to his big mansion. The house was huge, beautiful, and exactly like the kind of place she had dreamt of living in. It had marble floors, crystal chandeliers, and a garden that looked like a park. Sassy was overjoyed. She believed she had finally made it. Years went by, and Sassy lived in the mansion, wore beautiful clothes, and hosted fancy parties. But there were little things she found strange. Xander never talked about work. He never mentioned business meetings or clients. He always avoided questions about how he made his money. But still, Sassy didn't think much about it. She was too busy enjoying her rich life. One evening, a man arrived at the mansion. He was older, stern, and carried the quiet authority of a boss. Sassy was lodging at the pool when the stranger walked past her without a second glance and stepped inside like he owned the place. The truth unraveled like a cruel joke. Xander was not a millionaire nor a tycoon. He was the mansion caretaker, hired to maintain the estate while the real owner traveled the world. The luxury dinners, the helicopter rides were all borrowed or staged. Sassy was speechless. She felt betrayed. Her dreams had been built on smoke. The real owner asked him to vacate the mansion to move to the servant quarters because he was back to stay in his mansion. The rooms were tiny and old. There were no chandeliers, no silk, no sheets, no beautiful views, just a bed and a small kitchen. Cersei sat on the edge of the bed and stared out of the window at the grand house. She thought about how hard she had tried to marry a rich man and how badly it had turned out. She had gotten exactly what she wanted, or so she thought, but in the end, it was all a lie. She realized that chasing riches without love, truth, or hard work had only brought her sadness. She didn't just lose the mansion, she lost her dreams, and from that day on, Cersei never looked at life the same way again. The end. If you have enjoyed this story this far, please do not leave without giving it a like, subscribe, and share. Please consider leaving a comment on the comment section telling me whether you enjoyed the story and telling me whatever city or country you're watching me from me to give you a shout out on the next episode of Wonder Tales by Julian.